If you were born today, you've already beaten history. Most people didn't get this far. Not even close. You didn't wake up in a freezing hut. You didn't fetch dirty water from a river. You didn't bury your child before naming them. That's not exaggeration. That's how it was for most of human history. Let's go back. Black Death is sweeping through Europe. People don't understand germs. They think the stars are angry, or that God has left. In some towns, 1 in every 3 people is dead. In others, it's everyone. They burn the bodies in pits, and when they run out of firewood, they start digging. At 5 years old, you're not learning to read. You're hauling buckets, you're sleeping on hay. And when your sister coughs, you sleep farther away. Not because you're cruel, because you've seen what happens. There's no antibiotics, no painkillers, no vaccines. A splinter, they could kill you. So could childbirth. So could a rat. You don't choose who you marry. You don't choose your job. You don't even choose what you believe. The church does. The king does. And if you ask the wrong question, you disappear. There's no therapy, no time to reflect, no second chances. You lose a child in the morning, and by evening you're back in the fields. No one talks about it, because no one has time to grieve. And the work, it never truly stops. From before dawn until your muscles scream. No sick days, no machines to help. Every mouthful of food is earned by sweat. Your hands are cracked, your back is bowed. Rest is a luxury few can afford, and a single injury could mean starvation for your family. There is no safety net, only effort. The world is dark, lit by torches, not electricity, heated by fire, not systems. You eat what you can grow, or what you can steal. Starvation isn't a tragedy, it's just part of the cycle. You're born, you work, you obey, you die. Maybe someone remembers you. Probably not. No photo, no grave, just a name whispered once and lost. In 1601, something strange happened. The sun stopped rising. Or at least, it stopped shining the way it used to. For over a year, the sky remained dim. Crops failed, livestock starved, and people followed. In Russia alone, over 2 million died, not from war or plague, but from hunger. They boiled tree bark, ate straw, dug up graves. A volcanic eruption had changed the atmosphere, but no one knew that. They thought it was punishment, or magic, or madness. This wasn't ancient history, it was just science, before we knew what science was. We talk about the plague of the 1300s, but the pandemic that killed the most people happened just over 100 years ago. In 1918, as World War I was ending, something worse began. A virus, fast, silent, and merciless. It didn't just kill the old, it killed the strong. Athletes, soldiers, mothers in their prime. Hospitals overflowed, cities shut down, funerals were banned, entire families disappeared in a weekend. Over 50 million people died, more than in both world wars combined. And somehow, the world just kept going. like it was trying to forget, until 2020 reminded us what it felt like. In 1883, the island of Krakatoa exploded. The sound was heard over 3,000 miles away. That's like hearing an explosion in Tokyo from Australia. The blast destroyed 165 villages. It sent a 120-foot wall of water crashing into cities, and it darkened the skies across the entire planet. People in New York saw sunsets that looked like blood. Farmers in Europe watched their crops freeze in summer, and for years, the world never truly went quiet again. No one could explain it. There was no internet, no warning systems, just silence, ash, and then screaming. And yet, survivors rebuilt on the same land, near the same sea. Because even after the end, people find a way to begin again. Now step forward. Today you can Google a symptom, drink water from a tap, sleep under a roof someone else built for you. You can speak freely and be heard. That's not normal. That's new. Everything around you, the medicine, the food, the light, was bought with lives. By people who worked, suffered, and died in silence. So you wouldn't have to. You weren't born into fire. You were born into the smoke after, when it's still hard, but survivable. When the worst had already passed. Barely. This isn't about guilt. You don't owe them pain. You don't owe them silence. But maybe you owe them a second of respect. You got lucky, not in the sense that life is easy, but in the sense that it's possible. Possible to recover, to grow, to think, to change. You were born with more tools than kings once had. You have time, choice, the knowledge, the chance to make meaning, not just survive. People in the past fought just to exist. You get to decide how to exist. That's a huge difference. Most of them died nameless, storyless, faceless. But they were real. And in a strange way, you're their proof. You are the result of 10,000 years of unthinkable odds.